sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray. Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse and the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray, ESPN 790 here in Memphis, Tennessee, 92.9 HD-FM, and also all you folks out in Brownsville on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM, and, of course, in Jackson on News Talk 101.5 on this November the 16th. Man, I tell you what, winter is here, and we haven't even gotten through with fall yet. Frank Barton, where'd fall go?
Where'd fall go?
Yeah, what happened to fall?
It just merged right into winter.
Well, you just came back from over in South Carolina, and all of a sudden you come back and winter's here.
It's all right. I'm ready for it.
You are?
Well, as ready as I'm going to be.
That is Frank Barton. He is with us always on the third Saturday of the month, unless he's out at the Master Nationals, which I've got my book here. This is how many pages did we say on this?
A lot.
354. Then don't count the last part because it's got all the emergency numbers and everything. So, the 2019 Master National over at Cheraw, South Carolina. You know, we got a report from Frank when it was getting ready to kick off, and ended up with how many dogs?
We had 1,019 dogs.
1,019 dogs
entered, and we had, by the time we had some dogs that had to withdraw because they had got injuries and stuff, we had 980 that started the event.
Wow. From October the 17th through the 29th, because you're over there, you are technically gone for 3 weeks, right?
3 weekends. I'm gone over 3 weekends and 2 full weeks.
And you're trying to, have you caught back up now?
No. But
you left it in good hands here, the business and everything. Your son was taking care of it, and, of course, you had Lynn with you to take care of you.
I did, and it was a good time.
Well, we got to know one thing, because that's what a lot of people have asked me. We cannot forget the Poodles, Jack Combs. How did they do? Now, I know off the top of your head.
One of his Poodles completed the event and got a pass.
Okay.
And another one went out in the first series.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
It's
he has followers here now.
It's a tough event, Jack. There have been 2 Poodles that have passed the Master National, and Jack Combs has owned both of them.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, but I do have people that were still mystified with that segment we did. But busy times, you getting all that stuff. You come back, it looks like duck weather. You know, I think
it's been feeling like duck weather too.
Yeah, it's supposed to be deer weather, but I have not struck deer yet because I don't think they realize that people are. Well, they know it by now that people are shooting at them with rifles in November, early November, instead of coming up on the 23rd or something on that. The regular gun season will start, but CWD is, and I'm getting good reports. Lots of action in West Tennessee and those hot spots in Hardeman and Fayette, and a lot of folks taking their deers to Dave's Deer Processing out off Highway 70, and right there, take a right, go south off at Slingshot Charlie's. But I'm getting all sorts of reports. But, you know, we kind of inspired some people last week, Frank, with some duck talk report from Reelfoot, a great weekend at Reelfoot in that early season. And so I'm hearing the push, and we talked to John Devney from Delta Waterfowl. You would have liked to have heard that segment between Delta Waterfowl and John Gordon from Ducks Unlimited in here, talking about their passion for ducks and how their season ended 2 weeks early because of frozen out. The earliest blizzard they've ever had up there. So I asked him, where are the ducks? And then I was told,
well, there are quite a few in eastern Arkansas
there are,
right
aren't they? Now, here's the key, though. You know, we start, what's that first opening? What's opening day?
A week from today.
All right, a week from today. So will they stay? And I'm seeing temperatures, this is great weather. I went to Arkansas last week. I saw ducks between here and Little Rock going on that I normally would not see in early November. So
there's no really big reason for them to move out.
There is water.
There's plenty of water. There's been no hunting pressure, at least on the ducks. Now the early goose season, there've been some, there's been a little pressure put on by that. But for the ducks, we're fortunate that all the rain that we've had this year will benefit those of us that really need it.
So have you been to Bruins Bottom and what is
Lansing
it?
Bottoms?
Lansing
Bottoms.
Have you been there?
I have been.
Is it ready?
Was there last. It's not quite ready, but it will be by the end of this weekend.
Okay. You'll get it done this weekend.
I leave here and I'll go to work at over there on Mount Moriah for the remainder of the day. But then tomorrow, Sunday, I'll be back out and finishing up the duck line, so it'll be as convenient and as comfortable as it can be for you when you utilize your Arkansas license.
I will, and it's going to be so good this year that I'm not going to count how much each duck cost me. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I really feel after talking last week and getting the report from Billy Blakely up at Reelfoot, that special 2-day season, and seeing the reports and things along that line. So I'm here. Deer hunting here is kind of I don't know. A lot of people aren't hunting because of CWD, and we're going to find that on next week's show. We're going to kick it right off with Amy Snyder from the TWRA next week's show. But we got a good report from Chuck Yost from the TWRA last week. A lot of folks talking about that. But I'm really this kind of weather record. I mean, when it gets down to 16, 17. And I hunted last Saturday when I left the show, and it was 24, in Bolivar when we got up to near Whiteville. And frost, of course, I don't believe the deer sit out there and lick in the field in your food plot when it's all frozen over. So, and it's just like ice for the ducks. I know there was ice last weekend.
Well, there may have been, but fortunately there wasn't where I was.
But there was.
But we've got a lot of ducks right now. The fact is, we have. I reported to some folks earlier this week that we have in Lansing, where I like to hunt mostly.
Yes,
we've got as many ducks as I can remember in the last 10 years right now.
Wow. And you're seeing ducks maybe
and the good kind of ducks too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mallards.
You are seeing mallards. Of course, after last year. We're old.
We had ducks last year, but we just didn't have a lot of mallards last year.
No, we didn't. Probably the fewest.
And we had ducks early in the season last year too. Unfortunately, a lot of places didn't. So this is what happens this time of year. If you have plenty of water everywhere, you can have a pretty good weekend, and the ducks won't get completely run out because opening day is always the busiest day that there is, and there's the most pressure. But they won't be completely run out of the area because they've got plenty of places to go where they can rest and not get hunting pressure. It's when you have opening weekend and not a lot of water.
Yeah,
the ducks are concentrated. They get hunted pretty hard in those areas that get water, and then they just move out to someplace else where there's not much pressure.
Well, I know
it's simple.
Yeah, it's simple as long as you have the weather and the water, and then when you think about. We're 22 inches above normal for rainfall, and it didn't rain a drop in September. So that's the real crazy part of all this. And then October came about and was wet. But anyway, that's next weekend, and then we're going to get to the regular start of the regular deer season statewide. is next Saturday, which would be normal, but there's nothing normal about this deer season for this year, with particularly in our end of the state with the chronic wasting disease. But got a great show coming up. We're going to talk about boots, which I think maybe these may be the best boots ever. Frank may wear them. I don't know. But anyway, then we're going to talk about a big diamond that was found down in Arkansas. You know where that place is, the Crater of Diamonds State Park right out of Murfreesboro off the interstate. Then hand warmers. I love those grabber warmers. I've always wondered what's inside of them. You know, all of a sudden, I found 2 in my pocket before I came this morning. Of course, they were hard as a rock, but going to talk about them. Then you know this is squirrel time for MEPS. They sell, you send your squirrel tails in. You can make as much as 26 cents a squirrel tail. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but you get a bunch of them. But we're going to talk to the president. I've always wanted to talk to this guy, Mike Sheldon. The Sheldon family from Sheldon's Incorporated not only own MEPS, they also own MEPS in France, and they also own Mr. Twister down in Louisiana. And close out the show with one of Frank's best events, most look forward to events, and he's a chief volunteer here. Well, I mean, you got a heart for this big event coming up in December.
I do, but I'm just one of many.
You are one of many, but they're appreciated. That is the Physically Challenged Deer Hunt, and who best to talk about that? Ernie Lentz is going to be in studio, provided he can get here from Arca Butler down there. We'll see. So let's take our first break of the morning. Frank, I haven't picked one out yet, but you're going to do a couple of them, so get ready. Introductions.
I can handle it.
You sure can. I wish some of these other guys could do that. We might let Shelby McCall do that sometime. All right? Let's take a break. Come right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.